Hi guys, welcome to episode 3 of ToySack. Today we'll be reviewing the accessories of He-Man, and we'll be touching on the difference between Skeletor 2018 from Super 7 versus the vintage one from the 80s, which you see here on the left. Okay, so where we left off essentially from the previous video are the accessories. So key difference from this is from the 1980s He-Man. What makes them distinct essentially is that, in a nutshell, they all have markings from where they were made. In this case, just made in Taiwan. And the plastic they used was more soft than the ones that they used in the 2002 release and the vintage release. Apart from that, the design's pretty much the same for the 2002 and 1980s. So you would see here on the power sword, or half the power sword. The key difference being you have your China, which is from the 2002 release, and Taiwan from the 1980s release. But the pegs are pretty much the same and should probably work with the vintage 1980s Skeletor power sword. Okay. One of the key differences, though, for the 2002 and the 1980s is the shield. This one's from the 2002 commemorative release, and this one's from the 1980s release, which I actually prefer. This one is made of 2 pieces of plastic, wherein the orange that you see here is actually a sticker placed over the piece of plastic at the bottom, whereas this one is one solid hunk of plastic with the red pieces painted over, rather the red slots painted over. Other than that, they're pretty much the same. Okay. 2018 He-Man from Super 7 tries to mimic the original one. So it's made of 2 pieces of plastic, but the red slots are actually painted over, similar to the 2002 release. And it's pretty flimsy compared to the original. Power swords. The vintage He-Man comes with 2 power swords. One which is whole, which I actually use with the commemorative, and the vintage one from the 1980s. And another one which you could connect with Skeletor's. So we'll be taking a look at that in a bit. Alright. So on to the Skellies. So as for the He-Man, they're pretty much the same in terms of design. The one from Super 7 has a hard head compared to the original one, which is a soft head again. You'd see more detail on the original versus the one that was recently released a couple of months ago. And the key difference, of course, this is definitely based on the cartoon doesn't have those monstrous feet which you see on the original one. Because yes, He-Man did not have monsters. Skeletor rather did not have those bird feet in the cartoons. Right. So action features are pretty much the same as He-Man's. Punch. Same here. Oops. There you go. And key differences on the legs once more. This one has rubber joints, which I replaced. This one has hinges, which makes it more sturdy. This one's actually heavier than this one. This one's a good display piece, I think. In terms of playability, I think I'd still go for the older ones. Alright, so this is what the weapons look like. Havoc staff from the 80s, just one solid piece, but has some nifty detail on the ram's head. This, on the other hand, is from the Super 7 release, also nice. Made of 2 pieces of plastic. It's actually nice. This one's a bit brittle though, so I wouldn't, in terms of playability, I wouldn't really let a 5-year-old handle this. This one's good. Designed well for kids to play with. Same as the swords, the power swords. The one from the 80s is pretty flexible. Ideal for kids bending and swooshing them around. Versus the new one from Super 7, which is kinda brittle. Actually scared to bend this. Okay, so what do these guys look like with the other half of the power swords? Yeah. So this is the one from Super 7's He-Man. It moves in nicely with this one. It's pretty firm. Holds well. Oops, sorry. He-10. There you go. Nice, actually. And I do display He-Man with the 2 halves combined.